Hi guys, Fabio Palvelli here with a brand new video about the business side of design. Today we will talk about pivoting as a creative, so if you're an artist or a designer, this video might be very useful to you. First of all, what is pivoting? Now let's imagine for a second that you're trying to stick a nail into the wall and you realize all of a sudden that you have no hammer. Now, the vision is for you to have the nail stuck into the wall no matter what. Hammering the nail with a hammer is the strategy that you will use to get the nail in the wall. If you cannot find your hammer, then you will need to find a creative solution to solve the problem. Maybe you will use a stone or one of your cooking pans or something. So pivoting essentially is a change in strategy without a change in vision, as Eric Ries, the author of the book The Lean Startup, would say. Now, it is important to understand that the vision, when you run a company, the vision belongs to you. And so as a designer, your vision is that you want to become, the best designer on the planet, for example. How you will do that part belongs to the client, because it's the client that ultimately will give you the resources for you to work on your vision. That's very important to understand. When running a company, you work on your vision whilst serving your clients. Look, whilst focus and determinations are great characteristics for a leader to have, in business, they can sometimes blind us from what is happening around us. And in design, but really in any business for that matter, the ability to see beyond and between, as Seth Godin would say, and spot possibilities does allow entrepreneurs to create even more possibilities. And so pivoting really is about seeing and discovering new opportunities. So let's say that you make beautiful 3D images and that maybe you struggle to sell your work to your desired audience, say architects and product designers. What if you were able to spot an opportunity and you were able to sell your work to an industrial metal making company? I'm just making stuff up. Would you still do it, or would you feel this being counterproductive for your own career? Personally, I would do it, yes, no doubt about it. The work might not be as challenging or as motivating from an aesthetic point of view, but it will give you the economical resources for you to keep on working on your vision. Now, I've had this conversation in the past with some other artists that don't really like these ideas, since they see it as maybe giving up or as selling out. They think that it's a moral issue. And I can understand the conflict from an intellectual point of view, but in reality, when you run a business, the most important obligation that you have is to keep your business profitable. In startups, pivoting, for instance, it happens all the time. Snapchat, when they started out, it was basically a sexting app, to send nude pictures. Then for them, in order to raise money in the very early days, they had to change that. Then later on, when they saw themselves competing directly against Facebook, they decided to switch their attention from the larger public, which was dominated by Facebook, down to the teenagers alone, because teenagers did not want to have an open social network. They just wanted to have an app to connect in a social way with their friends. Let's see, another one. PayPal. PayPal went from being a Palm payment solution. You remember the Palm? Some of you might be too young to remember the Palm, but anyway. So they went from being the Palm payment solution to becoming the favorite method of payment for eBay. That was in the very early stage. And why? Well, because clients loved using PayPal more than sending checks or having to make a bank wire. At the time, you had to use checks or you had to go to the post office. The whole system relied heavily on trust. It did not work like it does today. Today, it's easy. Back then, it was a pain in the butt. And so you can understand the vision of these companies never really changed. What changed was the strategy. What changed was the answer that these companies started to give to questions such as, who do we offer our services to and how? And so as a designer, how do you change your strategy without changing your vision? The idea is that if you love the industry that you're in, you need to keep generating revenue for you to continue experimenting and innovating. Often in the field of design, this does not happen because we're biased by our personal agenda and often by our ego. Harley-Davidson, the American manufacturer, they lost their company because for a very long time they would not give in to the idea that their motorbikes were that the people that were driving Harley-Davidson motorbikes were often criminals, rebels, scruffy looking individuals, bar-goers, gang members, low society people. You get the idea. It was only after that the company was lost and then relaunched that Harley-Davidson said, you know what, if this is what people want, this is what we're going to give them. And so as a designer, you should be asking yourself the same type of questions. Is the market in which I'm in rewarding me for my efforts? Do people understand what is that we are trying to do here? Do we understand our customers enough? Because, often you need to take an objective look at yourself also. You should ask yourself, are there other ways for me to be compensated correctly for my abilities? Am I maximizing my earning possibilities? All these questions should help you understand whether or not you are on the right path or if it might be worth for you to consider a possible shift in strategy. Anyway, as always, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks a lot for watching. My name is Fabio Palvelli and I'll see you guys next time.